Let's see.
Water, not vodka. Promise.
Oh, this is tea. No, this really is tea.
It's yogurt. Shut up.
Right. I'm drinking it. Oh, that would be so gross. Yeah. A couple of guests ago, there was a country music duo in here, and the theme song or the theme for the playlist was drinking songs. So they brought in some whiskey. And we were drinking that in the show, but I hadn't eaten. So by the end of the show, I was like, "Oh God, I can't do this. This is going off the rails."
Jake and Jenny.
Yeah, Jake and Jenny.
Yeah. They're really nice. I started following them.
Oh, you did? Yeah. They were so much fun.
Oh, here comes my cat. Oh my gosh,
nice.
She wants in on the action. Hi, Sophie. Yeah,
she's vocal. Wow. Yeah.
She's real. So she's blind. And she has no teeth, and so she's a real winner.
Wow, yeah,
she's amazing. So because of that, she has incredibly long whiskers, and she also she's very vocal because it's the only way she can kind of let people know I'm here. Because she walk in a room and she'd be like, I don't know, is anybody here? She can't see us. So she's like,
so she walked into stuff.
So if we move the furniture around, yes. We have to I know it sounds so weird.
She's like, ouch.
She's seriously like we have this giant dining room table, and we moved it around because one of our quarantine projects was putting in this laminate floor in the living room. And so we moved everything around, and it had to walk her around it and make sure she knew where she was, and she still walked into about 6 times, and it's wrought iron, and it's just like, oh, Sophie, I'm so sorry. Hi, Sophie. She's so cute though. So her thing is she has this little felt ribbon that she drags around.
For another top 15 countdown of
the most
popular tricks of the week. It's like her baby.
All right, they're ending the countdown. Sounds like they're ending it early, but we still have like 2.5 minutes.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's bonus material.
I guess, yeah. So I have a short little intro after my jingle, and then I'll go into your song, and then I have a longer intro for you, and then we'll get into the interview.
Cool.
So, all right. Here we go soon. Oh, was the dog yours, by the way? I think I saw you post that it was from a shelter, but
oh yeah, it's a shelter dog. Okay. Yeah, she was a resue, and she now has a beautiful home.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we don't
beautiful dog.
Isn't she?
My girlfriend and I were like, oh,
we'll take so beautiful, and she was so happy and well trained. It was amazing.
Oh, so, really? Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Bagels, muffins, and donuts from the bakery. It's a great place to sit down and get some work done, complete with comfort.
How many things have you
done? So since it's been the first time on the radio was the first week of June. It's been every Saturday since then. But before that, it was a podcast since February, every other week.
Awesome.
So I lost track.
Still fairly new.
Yeah, very new. Yeah, that's still
good.
under a year. So
good.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. We'll see.
Seems like it.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. I really hope this could be a long-term thing. I have to do it more than just once a week, I think, but we'll see. Trying to get out there.
It's a good start.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, this was a small station. It was really the only way I could get my start, having no broadcasting background at all. So,
oh, for real?
Yeah.
Did you go to school for it or anything?
No, I was a teacher for 10 years.
Look at you go.
Yeah. Changing careers.
Imagine that.
The young age of 38, deciding to change careers.
Okay. Better late than never.
Yeah, I guess. All right, it'll be we'll be starting soon.
Cool. That's 617.
Got that going.
8240 or trustednorthend.com.
Every Tuesday and Wednesday from noon to 2, it's Mike Janity's Disco Dance Party, playing your favorite dance music from the 70s and early 80s. You're listening to WNTN 1550 AM and WNTN.com.
WNTN, Cambridge, Needham, Boston.
Music from France. Music from France.
Hey, and welcome back to Music from Friends on WNTN 1550 AM. I am your host, Brian Thomason, and it's really great to be back live in studio tonight. Thanks to everybody who tuned into the recorded program with Jay last weekend. It was great that he could rearrange schedules and record that in advance while I was away. Make sure you follow the show on Instagram at Music from Friends for updates about the show and so that you can send in song suggestions for the playlist. You can also watch the interview tonight and interact with me and the guests on our live stream on YouTube. To do that, you just need to be a member of my Patreon page. That's patreon.com/musicfromfriends. And there is still time to join to be a part of our interview tonight. Here is the first song from tonight's guest, and it's called It's All Right With Me.
It's the wrong time and the wrong place. Though your face is charming, it's the wrong face. It's not his face, but such a charming face that it's all right with me. It's the wrong song and the wrong style. Though your smile is lovely, it's the wrong smile. It's not his smile, but such a lovely smile that it's all right with me. You can't know how happy I am that we met. I'm strangely attracted to you. There's someone I'm trying so hard to forget. Don't you want to forget someone too? It's the wrong game and the wrong chips. Though your lips are tempting, they're the wrong lips. They're not his lips, but they're such tempting lips that if some night you're free, and it's all right with me. Oh, you can't know how happy I am that we met. I'm strangely attracted to you. There's somebody I'm trying so hard to forget. Don't you want to forget someone too? Oh, it's the wrong game and the wrong chips. Though your lips are tempting, they're the wrong lips. They're not his lips, but they're such tempting lips that if some night you're free, well, it's all right with me. It's all right with me, yeah. It's all right with me.
Tonight's guest is a Canadian-born jazz artist that is now based in Southern California. Growing up with musician parents who were very active in the scene, music has been a huge part of her life from very early on. She spent years traveling around the US, Canada, and even Europe performing her music, but only relatively recently recorded an EP which would become the foundation of her album, Wild as the Wind. Working with legendary composers like Shelley Berg in Florida and several Grammy Award-winning musicians, this former trapeze artist is now flying high on the huge success of that album. That album, which is a collection of unique covers, has had an incredible amount of radio play across the country and even internationally in the last 6 months. Nearly half of the 12 songs on that album have made it onto big stations, countless stations across the US, and even some major Spotify and Pandora playlists. aside from how crazy talented she is, she has had so much success because her music crosses into many different genres, which I think you'll get a little bit of taste of tonight. But just listen to the album and you'll hear everything. So it's a pleasure to welcome to the show, Carrie Kirkland. Hey.
Hey, you. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having me.
A quick update for everybody. So if you follow me on Instagram, you're expecting Gracie Moses on tonight and Carrie on next week. We had to do a little switch because something came up with Gracie. She'll be here next week. So I'm going to say this probably a lot, but thank you so much, Carrie, for being flexible and coming on the show tonight.
I mean, you are saving me from a great amount of yard work, so I'm thrilled.
Right.
Thrilled.
A great amount of yard work when it's 100 and how hot did you say it was right now?
It's 108 right now, so it's an easy day. It's a nice calm, cool day here in the desert.
108.
Yeah.
108. I don't think. Yeah, I haven't seen 108. I'm from Oklahoma. I can't remember the last time I've seen 108. So
we're lucky. This has been a nice, mild summer for us. It's been great. I know it sounds weird when you say it, but it's true. I was looking back, and this time last year it was in the 120s. So 108 feels like a walk in the park, and somewhere not here, not somewhere cool. The evaporative cooling is a real thing. So.
Well, I'm glad that I could save you from that yard work outside. All right, so I got most of that intro from your bio on your website, which your website's really great, very clean, and I love looking at that. And thanks for the EPK you sent me as well. But you are a daughter of some traveling musicians.
Indeed.
Talk about that a little bit more. Were they in a band? Was it just kind of just two?
I mean, they were in various amalgamations of musicians, so either band, they were in bands earlier on, and then the two of them kind of struck out on their own to do music themselves. And it was an unusual childhood because it was spent primarily in a moving vehicle, which it sounds fun. It sounds like an adventure. But there are a lot of times where I just wanted to be a normal kid and go to school and have a bunch of friends. And, the really good thing about it is that I spent a lot of time around adults. And so I grew up very quickly. I could adapt very quickly. I was resourceful. And, my parents were, they worked hard. They showed me the ways of the road. And it was a great lesson then. I didn't think at any point as a kid that I would end up doing music as a career.
Interesting.
So, so I had the education for it,
right.
Sort of the back end education, not any formal education, but the back end training for it. And then I went on to do, everything but music. Basically, it was always in the background. I was always in bands. I was always performing, but it was never the thing. It was never like, this is what I do for a living. It was always a side project. So, yeah.
And when did they stop playing music, or do they still play in some way?
No, not anymore. But yeah, I guess, man, about 30 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Was the end of that. Yeah.
So were you relatively young? You must have been
Bless
young.
you. Yeah. I mean, I'm really proud of my age because I'm in this time where it's, it's like you learn so much about yourself and you're proud of yourself. But I'm 45 now. So I was about 15, 16 years old when they stopped doing music together.
I would not have guessed that.
Thank you. That was water.
Right. So you didn't go to school like normal? Were you? So I guess you were home?
I never actually went to college at all. I've never gone to school for anything. And, I've done every job from a nanny to a cocktail waitress to, to a singer in a band, to a management consultant, to a private chef, to a flying trapeze instructor. So, I mean, I know it sounds crazy.
There's so many there.
Run the gamut of things to do in life and things to be in life. It's been, there's not been a boring minute, really. And I learned how to get bored during the pandemic. It was great.
Oh, that must have been really hard for you.
It was almost like it was like taking a class on its own. It's like, here's a class in how to stop. and
Mm.
have patience and be bored. Because I don't usually, there's always something to do. For me, I always find something to do. I'm one of those people that can't sit. And
Mm.
so being forced to do that was amazing. Not at the
Mm.
time. I hated it at the time, but
Right.
now I'm so grateful for it. It gave me so much more focus.
Oh, wow. And focus to, have you used any of that energy or that focus time for music, or have you really just kind of been like, I'm going to even set music aside and focus on something other than music?
It's a great question. I decided during the pandemic to release this album. So it was recorded 5 years ago, and
Mm.
it was sitting doing nothing for 4 years.
Mm.
And it was during the pandemic that, I'd kind of had my fill of home projects and cleaning out closets and making sure that, the cat was groomed by me. And I hit rock bottom with
Mm.
like, what can I do to make this bearable? And then, I talked to my husband and we just said, I think it's time. I think it's time to do this. I think it's time to release this. And so, it was about a year ago, a little more than a year ago, where I just said, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it independently. I'm going to do it how I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I started pulling everything together, all the materials you need, like all the artwork, and started filling out forms to create vinyl. And I've never done any of that before. I didn't know how to do any of it. I have made every mistake you can possibly make in the music industry, I believe, with regards to releasing an independent album, and I've learned from every single one of them. It's been a master class in what not to do, and conversely showing me exactly what to do next time.
Right. Well, that's so interesting that you say you've made so many mistakes, but
Yes.
this album is super successful, which we'll talk more about in a second. But even with those mistakes you think you've made, it still has been really successful, which I think is a testament to how talented you are, some of the resources that you were able to pull together. I mean, it's really great stuff.
Thank you.
Follow you on Instagram, and I was going to try and list some of the stations that your music has been played on, but I would run out of time. There's just so many. It seems like every day there's a new station that's playing a song from the album. And it's not just one song either. It seems like there's a couple that have gotten picked up. I tried to count maybe like 6, maybe 5 or 6 from the album that have been picked up.
It's amazing. I mean, the response to me, in my head, I imagined, okay, I'm gonna put this out. I'm gonna put it out the best way that I can with the budget that I have, and hope for the best. And then we'll see what happens. And it was like immediately, it was like, oh no, this is now your full-time job. This is what you do now. You promote this album because, like I said, doing everything on my own by myself. It's every single day is outreach and engagement and reaching out to the radio stations and thanking them and making sure that they all really truly understand that I am so sincerely grateful for what they're doing, because otherwise, as an indie, it's just so hard to get it out there. You're sort of shouting into the void and saying, please listen to this. I like this. Do you like this? It's this game of like, is this good? Is it not good? But when you start to get that feedback that people are enjoying it, and I did an interview early on with Greg Kutsona from a radio station in Chico, and he just said, people like it. It's really good. And then, someone else on the East Coast came and told me, Jerry Gordon from a station in New Jersey, he said, this album is great. It's really great. And it takes that repetition to believe it.
I can imagine.
Because a lot of times I can't believe it. I think that it's, some kind of lip service, or that it's people being nice. And it takes a while to sort of drill it into your head that no, people like it. It's a good thing. It's an amazing feeling.
Right. I can totally relate to a lot of those feelings and experiences. Sometimes I feel like almost that imposter syndrome sometimes, like,
Oh yeah.
really, what am I doing here? But it's been great to have people support, encouragement to keep going. I think that really helps. Without some of that encouragement, without hearing it a lot, it's hard to keep going.
It is.
I met you originally on, I don't think we can say the name of the app because it's a bad thing
Can't?
now to say it. Yeah, it's so bad to say the name of the
No, you can't say
app. Which is a great app, and I've met a lot of guests from that app. How has your experience been on that? Have you gotten a lot of help from that app? And
No.
do you owe? Okay. I was gonna say, do you owe any success to that? No.
Short answer. I mean, the thing is, I could tell you sort of half truths and say, yeah, it's been this, great resource for me. To be 100% honest about it, it has been it's been a place where I've met probably half a dozen people that I'm still in touch with since I got on there earlier in the year. Maybe not even that many. And the level of authenticity is a little rough. I find that I'm the kind of person, despite what this interview looks like so far, who likes to listen. I like to listen more than I talk, and I know it's kind of my job to talk right now, but I do really like to listen more than I speak, and in general, and that app is great for that because I was able to sort of put it in my ear, put in my headphones and do other things and listen to it almost like a podcast and not be completely involved in it. But the thing I kept coming back to was authenticity. And for me, it's kind of like that quote about, talking about music is like dancing about architecture. And you have to do it, you have to. And of course, we've all been sort of stuck not being able to do anything. So talking is good and sharing ideas is good.
Right.
But I found it to be a lot of people who want to hear themselves talk more than they want to listen.
Right.
It's the nature of the platform, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Huh. Well, yeah.
I'm glad I met you.
I'm glad it worked out too. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the guests coming on in the future will be from that app. So it's helpful, I guess, in some ways. But yeah, I'm one of those people too, oddly enough. Well, I guess not oddly enough because now I'm listening more than anything else. I listen a lot on that app. I very rarely talk on that app. So yeah, it's a good place to hear, I guess, a lot of different opinions and a lot of different things. But I use it mostly for connecting and meeting with people. So
yeah.
Well, I'm sorry you haven't had much good luck with it, but
it's okay. It's a bit like summer camp, You go in and you're one of many, and you're kind of like the kid in the back is like, but I can't do archery. Like, I don't know. I'm not ready.
Right. I think that you probably could do archery though. I mean, so you were really? No. If you picked it up, you probably could.
No, I tell everybody it's actually funny that I pulled that analogy out of the air because that is the one thing when people are like, you're good at a lot of things. How, what's up with that? And I'm like, but not archery. I'm the worst person at archery ever.
Okay. Have you shot somebody with an arrow or something? Or
I never shot anybody. Mostly just shoot the ground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like there's two ways to be really bad at that. Or injure somebody or just shoot the ground. Okay.
No. And funny. It's like the one thing when I watch movies with people shooting arrows, I'm like, it's so easy for you. How is it so easy for you? I don't get it.
I think that's the magic of film.
I don't know. It takes some skill.
Yeah,
There's some skill that I do not have, but I can make a mean roast chicken, and I used to run Ironman. So, I have other skills that make up for my lack of archery.
Wow. And cocktail waitress.
Yeah.
The trapeze thing, like I can't get past the trapeze artist thing. So that's where you met your husband. You say on your bio. So I don't think I'm giving anything away there. So it's great that you did that. But did you just one day wake up and like, this looks good to do? Or how does one get involved in becoming a trapeze artist?
Yep. It's a nefarious life. I did actually just wake up one morning and my friend she had been talking about taking a flying trapeze class. And it was, a little bit after the time when everybody had seen it on Sex and the City, and it was just starting to be a thing. And she wanted to do this. She really wanted to do it, and nobody wanted to do it with her. And it was her birthday, and so I said, "I'll take you to do a class. I'll sign us up. Let's do this class together."
Mhm.
And so I signed us up at Emerald City Trapeze in Seattle, and little did I know that there was this glorious, indoor circus place, because I actually signed us up for a class that was outdoors. And if you know the PNW, just outside of Seattle is a big mountain called Mount Si. And
Okay.
this trapeze rig is set up in the middle of a field, and it's outdoors. And that was like their second to last day of doing it outdoors. And so I thought, oh, this will be fun. It'll be really cool. And, I'm pretty outdoorsy, so let's go and do this at the base of a mountain. It'll be really, really wild, and take her
Mhm.
for her birthday. Well, we show up, and then there's this gentleman there, long blonde flowing locks, who goes up on the trapeze, and we learn our trick. And then we do what's called the catch. And so in flying trapeze, you do a trick. First trick you ever do is called a knee hang. You hang by your knees from the bar, you take your hands off, you reach out in front of you, and from nowhere, this catcher appears and grabs your wrists and takes you off into the universe. And so, I mean, it is the most Disney
Oh, I was gonna say, this is a movie. This is,
meeting.
yeah.
I mean, it you couldn't write it better,
Wow.
because I reach out my arms, and there he is. He grabs my arms, and it was just this magic moment.
You're
And
gazing into his eyes with his lovely locks flowing.
it was a thing. It was a thing. It was a great thing. And I didn't think that it would become what it did, which was not only a meeting of my husband, but a meeting of the person who owned the circus school that I was taking the class at.
Okay.
And so we started dating and ended up getting married 1 year later, exactly to the day that we met. And we got, of course, in true circus fashion, we got married on a reality TV show. So there was like,
Wait, which one?
am I allowed to say it? Is it?
I don't know. Are you? What, did it air?
Let's see. Yeah. Oh yeah, it
Oh,
aired.
if it aired, then yeah, I think you're
Okay.
like
Well,
public.
it's called Four Weddings. It's
Okay.
on TLC.
Okay.
And so, we got married in front of the nation, which was crazy, after we actually did flying trapeze together right before the wedding. And yeah, I know.
Like
I
the
know.
day of the wedding, you're doing trapeze.
Oh, like an hour before we actually said our vows. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Did you wear what? So
Yes. Yeah. Leotards,
Yeah, I was gonna
sparkly,
say,
the whole thing.
was that
Yeah.
in the wedding, or did you change really quick? Did you just throw a dress on? Or you just
So
got married in
that's
real
why
quick?
there was an hour sort of separating it,
An
because
hour? You got ready for a wedding in an hour? Every woman listening is just shocked.
well, we did we did our trick, did the catch, and of course, the cameras are there. You only get one shot at it. We weren't going to do it
Right.
again. We told each other we're not going to change a single thing about our wedding just because there's a TV crew here. And so we, did the catch, and then I run upstairs to get changed into my dress, and they changed my hair from, this leotard and hair up to, big wedding dress and hair down. And then I actually came spiraling down from the ceiling, like 40 feet up, hanging by my wrist, and got married an hour later. And yeah, it was amazing. It was incredible. But what came out of that is, this partnership of a marriage, but also, the partnership of running a business together. And so it was a circus school, an art center, an event center. And, we did really big shows, circus shows. And so I sort of had an in with the music side of things, and started creative directing, and we both produced these these big circus shows. And then eventually it's like, I'm going to sing live in the show. And then it's like, I'm going to sing live while I zip line down 120 feet from the flying trapeze rig to the stage. It was a magical world. And it was basically like a treehouse for grown-ups. And
Wow.
and we
With
just,
lions, a treehouse with
no
oh,
animals,
okay.
no
Okay, good.
animals,
All right, it was just like
physical,
trapeze and okay.
just aerial and flying trapeze and bungee and all that kind of good stuff. But we learned so much about the production of events
Mm.
and creative design.
Mhm.
And that was seriously 60 hours a week plus. For us, it was because
Wow.
it was just taking off in North America. Circus schools were starting to open up everywhere, and
Mhm.
so yeah, I mean, I got to perform, I got to coach and teach and run the whole place together.
Wow.
And eventually he recognized,
Mm.
you're not doing the thing that you should be doing.
Mhm.
I didn't
Mhm.
even know it was the thing I should be doing. He knew. I
Yeah.
didn't know. And he said, we've got to get you singing somehow. And he contacted Shelley Berg without me knowing it.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, totally on the down low. And he said, my wife's a singer. I was hoping that you would meet her. And he kind of jokingly said, do an album with her and, ha ha ha. and I mean, out of nowhere, my husband, he emailed Shelley out of nowhere because he heard him on Spotify and he's like, this guy's great. This is the perfect guy.
That's how he knew him. He didn't have like a strong connection with him. He's like,
I'm
oh,
telling
here's a
you,
guy. I'll
like,
just email him.
I'm gonna tell you, our life is super magical.
It really is.
Yeah.
Do you see the comment on that somebody posted?
No, I don't. I can't
Oh,
see
you
it.
can't see. Oh, I thought I could
Oh,
show.
that's crazy. Oh,
Yeah, that's crazy. I think that was
it is
initially about the whole wedding. I think, but there hasn't been a part of the story that hasn't been crazy.
The whole thing is crazy. I know.
Right.
It is crazy. But
Wow.
so he contacted him, emailed him, and Shelley later said when someone in the studio asked him, like, why did you answer this email? And Shelley gets hundreds of emails a day from people saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I
bet.
I can do this. Can you do this with me? And and he said, Shelley said, there was just something about it. I just knew that I should answer. And so he answered the email and said, sure. Why don't you come meet me in Miami? At which point my husband had to spill the beans to me and say, so I did this thing and we need to go to Miami. We're in Seattle at the time. So not only does it mean a cross-country flight and time away from work, but it's also like, wait, what? What did you do? What?
Right.
What?
Back up. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I guess in the vein of the magical experience, I said okay, and we booked a flight to Miami, and so we get there, and in the back of my mind, as the I do have certain sides of me that are like the left brain, right brain side, and the artist side who says, yeah, I'm not worthy. And so in the back of my mind, I'm saying, yeah, we're here, but it's not going to work out. Something's going to go wrong. We won't be able to meet him. And all the while, my husband, who's the eternal optimist, is saying, no, everything's good. Everything's fine. Everything's great. Well, we get a text from Shelley. He was actually at the Grammys, and because he was nominated that year, and he said, my flight's delayed. And of course I'm like, yeah, of course the flight's delayed. Probably it won't even land. It probably won't even take off, And my husband's like, no, it's fine. Everything's fine. So we get in a cab. His flight is delayed to the point where it's going to be arriving at midnight in Miami. So we get in a cab at 11 p.m. and I'm like, yeah, it's he won't be there. He gave us the wrong address. It's not really his house. It's fine. Don't worry. My husband's like, no, it's fine. Well, the taxi pulls into a gas station and says, I need water. And we say, what do you mean you need water? He says, yeah, the car, the radiator's broken. And in my mind, I'm going, Yeah, no, the car's gonna explode. We're never gonna make it. It's fine. Yeah, my husband, everything's fine. We pull up to the house, and Shelly's not there. He hasn't arrived yet. So we are invited in by his gracious and lovely wife,
Hmm.
who we have never met, who says, "Yeah, come on in. I'll make some coffee." Yeah, it's 12:30.
Right. Never met you before. I'm assuming
Never
that
met us
Shelley has
before.
told her that you'll probably show up.
He
but
has
still,
told her that we'd be,
inviting people into your house, being like, "Oh yeah, just come on
we'd
in."
be
It's-
stopping by. It's
Yeah,
fine.
okay.
You know. Shelly arrives, now I'm jacked on caffeine and pretty sure that when he arrives, he's going to order me out of his house just because that's who I am.
Hmm.
And he sits down and says, "So, why are we here? What are we doing?" At which point I was forced to say, so I am a singer and I would like to do a demo. Would you like to do a demo? I basically revert to my 6-year-old self
Right.
saying, can you help me, please? And Shelly he's so kind. He's just such a wonderful human. And
Mhm.
I think he could sense my nervousness and awkwardness. He said, why don't we play through some things?
Hmm.
So he sits down at his piano and we start hanging out and singing and playing, and my husband and his wife toddle off to the kitchen for more coffee and cookies and let us do our thing. And about an hour later,
So 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, maybe.
2-ish.
morning.
Yeah, we left, and Shelly at the door said, "You're really talented. Let's do this." And I, of course, thought, I had been drugged or I was dreaming. And
As he's holding his Grammy, he's like,
this
"Oh, yeah,
couldn't possibly be happening right now.
wow."
And then, it was a matter of 3 months later, and I was in the studio with some of the finest musicians in the world,
Mhm.
with Dean Parks on guitar and Kevin Axe on the bass and Greg Field on the drums and Brian Kilgore on percussion and John DeVersa on the trumpet. And
Wow. And you made this really amazing album that, like you said earlier,
I
I think we're alive for that. That
I had no
everybody
idea.
likes it.
I had no clue that it was even going to happen. And when it did happen, it was seriously, it was like a dream. It was so solid and so enriching, to be in the presence of these guys who, to them, it just is who they are. Music is who they are.
Mhm.
And to be immersed in that, baptized in it,
Right.
and to come out the other side with an album that, when we first did it, it was just a demo. It was an
Right.
EP.
The EP, yeah.
Yeah, and to come out even with that was like, I couldn't believe it was real.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it.
Well, let's hear another song from that fantastic album, as Nobiclease said. I think I got that right. Nobiclease? Maybe I said that right. I hope so. Thanks for commenting on YouTube. I agree. Fantastic album. I think a lot of people agree it's also a fantastic album. The song we're going to hear right now is Wild is the Wind. Another great cover. Like I said, the whole album is a collection of different covers. So is there anything you want to say about this really quick while I get it set up, and then we can talk more about it on the other side?
Well, it's the title track of the album, and it was the only song for me that was non-negotiable for doing this project. It was the second song that I ever showed to Shelly, and I told him this is the inspiration for the project, and his arrangement's stunning.
All right, well, here we go. Here is Wild as the Wind by Carrie Kirkland.
Love me, say you do. Let me fly away with you. For my love is like the wind, wild as the wind.
No vocals, no vocals.
Give me more than one caress, and satisfy this hungriness. Let the wind blow through your heart, for wild is the wind, wild is the wind. You touch me, I hear the sound of mandolins. You kiss me. With each kiss, my life begins. You're spring to me, all things to me. Don't you know your life itself? You touch me, oh, I hear the sounds of mandolins. You kiss me. With each kiss, my life begins. You're a spring to me, everything to me. Don't you know your life itself? Like a leaf clings to a tree. Oh, my darling, cling to me, for we're like creatures of the wind, and the wild is the wind. Wild is the wind, the wind.
All right. Again, that was Wild as the Wind by Carrie Kirkland. Aside from how amazingly beautiful that is, just throughout, why was that song one of the non-negotiables on the album?
Well, it was a song that I had first heard when I was 18. And I heard Bowie's version first. I
Okay.
didn't hear Nina Simone's version until much later. Something about that hit my 18-year-old self, just, like a Mack truck.
Hmm.
The idea of romantic love, but also, also unrequited love, and
Mhm.
also love that is maybe lost or
Mhm.
never had.
Hmm.
Um,
Mhm.
This idea that someone could be your whole life, and someone, the line in there, don't you know your life itself? And that to me, as an 18-year-old trying to figure out the world and life and
Mhm.
love, it just said everything so simply, but also so impactfully. I ended up meeting David Bowie later on.
Oh,
when I
really?
was a little older, in my early 20s, and that had a big effect on me. It was the first time I had met a really big celebrity, but also I'd met somebody that I admired, yeah, as a musician and as a person.
Hmm.
But that song just kept coming back to me, and it just kept speaking to me. And I then heard an interview later with Bowie when he said that was the first time, and maybe one of the only times, that he used his true voice, not a
Hmm.
voice that he was putting on, not a voice that he was, trying out. It was his authentic voice. And to me, that idea of putting forth your authentic voice, and the voice that is truly you, that isn't
Mhm.
for anyone else, that isn't for, or it's not because you're in a party band and you have to sing a certain way, or
Right.
you're it's actually really
Mm.
you. There's a
Mm.
vulnerability to that.
Hmm.
And so to me, that song represents authenticity, and it represents vulnerability, which are things that for me now as an
Mhm.
artist are completely non-negotiable.
Hmm.
And it was really Shelley who taught me to get inside the lyric. And he basically said, don't gild the lily. You don't have to.
Hmm.
And everybody can tell you, you got to make it your own, especially if it's a cover. Everybody can
Right.
tell you, you got to be you. You got to
Mhm.
bring your own thing to it. But if you don't think so much about bringing you to it,
Right.
and just being
Just do
you
you. Yeah. Hmm.
in the moment,
Hmm.
it's really scary at first. And I know that when I was recording, there were times when I would do a couple takes, and then Shelley would come in, and he just sit with me or stand with me. We'd talk
Hmm.
about ideas about, what could this song be about? What, maybe it's a real life story, maybe it's something made up in the moment, just to get me into a space. And there were times when I would hear him, and there were other times when he would almost just get into me and say, like, this is what it is. Listen to the lyric, read that lyric, look at it, and think about it. Like, think about what you're saying. Think about what it actually means. And I would leave the vocal booth sometimes like shivering or shaking, because there's this scariness about vulnerability.
Hmm. Mhm.
You have to
Mhm.
allow yourself to be completely bare.
Hmm.
And as a vocalist, I think that's sometimes you, it's terrifying,
Hmm.
because it's here I am. You can love it or hate it,
Right.
but here I am.
Right.
And I think that it's one thing now that I recognize when I listen to music, or when I hear people, um, if you're singing about pain,
Mhm.
you can't just say, cry me a river,
Right.
cry me a river. It's not
Right.
like, it's like,
Uh,
no. This is like this is pain.
Mhm.
So you can't take lyrics lightly. They're there for a reason.
Mm. Mhm.
And if you really allow yourself to vocally interpret the emotion that's
Mm.
indicated by lyrics, I just feel like it's a leap,
Mm.
I guess. Yeah, you can make all kinds of funny jokes about how I'm a trapeze artist who takes a leap, but
I couldn't I couldn't avoid it in my intro. I had to do something with
yeah, no, it is what it is, but but yeah, as sort of cliche as it is,
Yeah.
you have to be willing to jump even when
Right.
you don't know if there's a net. You have to be willing to jump.
Is this a type of pain that you felt before, this unrequited love? Because that, when we were talking about playlist themes, like you came up with that pretty quickly. So I was wondering, I mean, surely not with your husband, because you have this kind of fairy tale, almost movie meeting, and then being together and wedding and everything. But before that, was this pain real for you?
100%.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. And I don't know. Have you ever met anybody who hasn't experienced unrequited love? They must be the luckiest. Well, maybe not, because I don't know. I think you learn as much from unrequited love as you do from being in love that's reciprocated.
For sure.
Teaches you so much about who you are and what your intention is, and why do you feel that you need somebody so much. And again, wild as the wind, don't you know your life itself? Are you really willing to give that much of yourself away? And maybe you are. Maybe that's great. I don't know. I think to be able to experience unrequited love means that you're almost experiencing the contrast in a way that nothing else can sort of satisfy. Like you're experiencing the lack or the void of love, because it's forcing you to accept that you're not loved by this person. It's forcing you to accept that no matter how great of a person you are, no matter how wonderful or giving, or no matter what, it doesn't mean that love is going to come back at you if it's not right. And so you have to also be willing to accept and heal. And those are big things. And when you encapsulate those kind of big emotions into a song, I think I personally feel like it's a responsibility to be able to interpret that honestly. And so if I hadn't experienced unrequited love, I think it would be really unfair of me to try and sing all these songs and pretend that I knew what it feels like to be crushed, and knew what it feels like to wait by the phone and look at it 50,000 times before we had the 3 little dots. You knew that somebody was out there. I'm old enough to remember the days of staring at a telephone that wasn't a visual thing. It was just this block of plastic that is mocking you.
You couldn't just text, like you couldn't just reach them quickly or see them in social media and see if they
there
were
wasn't even email.
It was just I remember those days with a very long phone cord where I could try and get away from my mom while I was talking on the phone. Wow. I think having that experience, it kind of makes when you do find that real love, it kind of gives a little bit meaning to it, I guess, in a sense. Like you've been waiting for it for so long, and then you really see what that, I don't know, you experience that love reciprocated. I don't know. I think unrequited love is important, like you said. I don't know. As soon as you asked, do I know anybody who has not experienced? I don't know.
It's an honest, great question. I would be really curious to know if there were people who felt like they have never experienced it. Because I would be interested to steal their soul. and insert that into my own and feel
Wow.
feel ultimate happiness.
Yeah. To go right from the very first person you love is the person who shows you love back, and then that's it. That would be, yeah,
That,
that would be a nice life.
it's pretty amazing.
So I want to make sure I play one more song of yours before we end, but I could spend hours just talking to you because there's just so much to get to and ask, and such an amazing story. So the song we're going to hear now is "Do It Again." Want to say
Steely
anything?
Dan song, yeah.
Yeah.
Originally a Steely Dan song, and originally a song that is a super pop hook. You know, it's Steely Dan. They're incredible musicians and writers and arrangers, and for me, because I do covers, because I'm a song stylist, I do like to breathe a different sort of life into a song, and this is turned right up on its head into a bit more of a mournful, darker, definitely crunchier vibe than the original, and is featuring John DeVersa on the trumpet.
Okay. All right. And before we hear it, I love the covers that you did, because I love when a cover is not just a copy of the original song. I love when it really is true to the artist, and what you were saying earlier about how you just more yourself and just let go. Like, I think that's pretty clear in this music. These are not just taking a version of a song and you replicating it. Really is your own version of it, and they're all great. They're all amazing. I think that's why so many people love this album and the songs, because it's very real and true. So anyway,
wow. That's Shelley Berg's arrangements too. I mean, I cannot take all the credit for
right.
He took my ideas and my visions and he turned them into what this is. So it's very exciting, and it's just an amazing thing to me that we could make it so different. We could make it real.
Nice. All right. Well, here is "Do It Again" by Carrie Kirkland.
In the morning, you go gunning for the man who stole your water, and you fire till he is done it. But they catch you at the border, and the mourners, they are singing as they drag you by your feet. But the hangman isn't hanging, so they put you on the street. When you know she's no high climber, then you find your only friend in a room with your two-timer, and you're sure you're near the end. But then you love a little wild one, and she brings you only sorrow. All the time you know she's smiling. You'll be on your knees tomorrow, but you go back. You go back, and the wheels keep on turning. Round and round and round, you go back. You go back, and you do it again. Well, you swear and kick and beg us that you're not a gambling man. Then you find you're back in Vegas with a handle in your hand. Those black cards can make you money, so you hide them when you're able. In the land of milk and honey, you must put them on. You must put them on the table. And the wheels keep turning around. You go back. You go back. Oh, you go back. Oh, and the wheels, they turn around. They keep turning around, and you do it again.
My goodness. It's just so good. Just top to bottom, this album is really good.
Thank you.
And it deserves all the success it's had. Thank you for letting me just be one of the many people who have heard it and trying to get the word out. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more success from this album, but do you have more stuff coming up? We have a few minutes before the 7 o'clock hour, but
They're going to boot us off. Yes, there is more coming.
Okay.
But I do want to thank you. It is because of you and people like you reaching out to independent artists and bringing them to the light and introducing them to people that means that we can make more. So thank you. And yes, barring all, world global issues, and any restrictions in Southern California,
Right.
yes, the plan is to go into studio in October.
Okay. October. Will you take the same group of people? Are you going to work with Shelley again on this one as well?
I am working with Shelley again on this
Nice.
one.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Good.
Yes, it is. It's really, really exciting, and I'm going to be sharing a ton of behind the scenes stuff now because I can. Because it's
Right.
not 5 years ago; it's now.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm going to be taking lots of video and pictures and lots of behind the scenes shots in the studio in October. And I will be broadcasting live a few times and also just getting as much content to people as I can before the album actually drops in 2022.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. But definitely, I think this is going to carry on with success for a long time. So thank you so much for putting this out, and I'm happy to have great musicians on and great artists and love your music and love. I don't know. Your story is great. Just everything is amazing about this. So you're very authentic. So thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to get interrupted soon, but there's so much I want to say. So there is a tip jar for Carrie. So if you love what she's doing and you want to show a little bit of extra love, of course, listen to the album on repeat forever. But if you want to help a little bit more, you want to show her a little bit more love, there's a virtual tip jar in the bio on my Instagram account. Just drop a little bit in there, show her some love, and I'll make sure all of that gets back to her. That identification is going to happen soon. When it does, I'll shut up. And then I'll come back and talk to you on the other side of it. So I just want to make sure I'm not rushed in saying thank you for coming on and everything. And I love I'm looking forward to more music. And how can people follow you? All of the different places you are on the internet, social media, all that stuff.
Website is my full name, Carrie Kirkland, Karikirkland.com. All the links are there, but I'm also Instagram, Carrie Kirkland Music, Facebook, Carrie Kirkland Jazz, I think, or music. Boy, I should know that. Sorry. And but you can find everything on the website for sure, because it's got all those little beady boop 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 things on there that they all work. I promise.
Right. And it's a great website.
Thank you.
Lots of good stuff there for people to
you.
check out. So again, I'm gonna start the playlist now. I don't know if you're gonna keep listening from home when I end the broadcast, but I'm gonna start with the three of the songs that you sent me earlier on.
Yay.
This week is going to be the male themed. I was going to do female because Gracie was sad girl. So I'm going to save all the females for her. So we're going to really be male heavy today. I'm going to do Somebody Else by 1975.
Nice.
And then You Don't Know What Love Is. And Not in That Way. Those are going to be the three that that you sent me that I'm going to play. So any other favorites that you didn't get a chance to mention that you want to make sure? You sent so many great songs for the playlist.
Oh, well, I mean, actually, you beat me to it on the Bonnie Raitt. I Can't Make You Love Me. I think that's the all-time unrequited master. Yeah. So
so good. And I love the Bonnie version of that too.
It's amazing.
So another example of taking a song. I mean, it was slow with her, but he just really kind of just did his thing. So anyway, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'm glad it does not involve any more lawn work.
Never know. It's still young out here in the West Coast. Thank you, Brian. It's been a pleasure, and thank you for doing what you do.
All right. Thank you, Carrie. Bye.
Bye.